Hi guys, this is Manoj Kumar. Today we are going to develop a simple password generator app using React, and this is going to be a full tutorial about React and CSS and JavaScript. So this is a simple password generator app. First, I will just get the characters needed. So let me hit 16 characters I need, and here it is default as lowercase is checked, uppercase is also checked, and numbers and symbols, everything is included. And I'm going to generate password. So here is my password. I can copy it using this icon by clicking it. So it shows like copy text like so. So let me just close it. So let's get started. So first let me just create a empty react app using npx command. So npx create react app space password generator like so. So it will just create an empty react app, and it will automatically open the browser and it will just run it. So we will just wait for a few seconds. So we have successfully created an empty react app called password generator. So I will just now close this terminal, and I will open the VS Code, and here I will open my react app that I have created. So first let me just remove the unwanted stuffs here. And I will just name title as password generator app like so. So I'll just save this and close it now. So we will just start with our app css file over here. Let me just enter h1 as so make sure that your file format is of react. So this is a password generator like so. And let me just start this app by npm start. So it will open my browser automatically. So it shows like a password generator, so it is working fine now. So let me just add it to the VS Code. So yeah, now we can develop it easily. So let me just remove contents from this app so that I can style it on my own. So now we need a component directory over here called components, and I have to create a file named num of chars. We just going to have we are going to collect how many chars we need to uh, generate, how many characters of our password must be generated. So I'm just going to get that value through this component num of chars. So just make it react. So, so I'm going to import this app css over there, and I'm going to import that file over here. Import um, num of chars num of chars. So I'm going to import num of chars from the file dot slash components slash num of chars. So yeah, so now I can have the tag over here. So yeah, now I have to write the code over here to add it over here. So it shows an error like because here we have to have two dots because we are inside a directory called components, but the app css file is present outside the directory of app components. Now if I refresh, now everything is clear. So we have to have some buttons over here. So let me just name this class as mm, container and I'm going to have an h3 tag called enter num number of characters needed. So like so and I'm going to have a bunch of buttons over here so that I can get the input from here. So I'm going to have a tag called button, and I'm going to have a type of button, and I'm going to give a class name. I think we don't need a class name, and I'm going to have a button called for, and I'm going to copy these things. Shift. Yeah, I'm going to have four buttons called 4, 8, 12, and 16. So and then that's it. We got a button, and now we have to give a value for this. So it shows an error because I don't have a symbol here. No, it should be fine. So yeah, so first we will just concentrate on styling. After we have styled everything, we will go to the react to generate how to generate an password, a random password. So yeah, first we have created this component, and I'm going to create a form component to get do you need to include as lower cases, upper cases, and numbers and symbols as well. So I'm going to create a component called form form.js, and make sure the type is of React, JavaScript React, so that your shortcuts and everything works fine for you. And I'm going to import an app CSS. So yeah, here I'm going to remove this div tag, and I don't need this action. So, and I'm going to create a few div tags over here, like inside the div tag I'm going to have a label, and the HTML is for is lawyer, and, the name of the label is nothing but include lowercase, so like so. And I'm going to have an input over here, input tag, and its type is of checkbox, and the ID is of lawyer, which we have given to the label. So like so, and we're going to copy these things. So we are going to copy this div tabs, and I'm going to replicate it over here for 3 times, oh sorry, 4 times, so that I can get the uppercase, numbers and strings. So it's like include uppercase, and the ID is going to be upper, and here it is just number, so yeah, I'm going to remove this lawyer, and it is going to be of symbol. So yeah, we have done it. Now I'm going to import this form in this app CSS file, sorry, app.js file. I'm going to have the same input tag. The name is of form.js, so we can just have form. And I'm going to import form from component slash form, like so, and I'm going to have a form tag over here slash. So yeah, everything is included over here, so we can check this. So like so, and we are going to have a button called generate password button. The button type is going to be of button, and button type is of button, and the name of the button is going to be generate password, like so. So that's it. So the button is visible over here, and now the last thing is nothing but the password. We have to display the password, so I'm going to use an h2 tag for it. So before including this h2, I'm just going to have another div tag, or with the class name of with the class name called display pass, so like so, and an h2 tag over here called password. So now I'm going to give a static value over here, like password, and then I will include an icon over here, and we are going to include the icon from font awesome. So we need another terminal to do this. So yeah, so I have the codes over here to, so these three npm commands will uh, include the font awesome in our package. So first let me just include both of three things. So after including these things, if we see this package.json, the three packages will be present in this thing. So I will provide these three commands in the description for you guys to have a reference over it. So if we see this package.json file, we guys can see that font awesome is over here. So we can include the icons now over here. I'm just going to delete this terminal. I'm going to minimize this terminal over here, and so yeah. So I'm just going to import the font awesome tag from here. So the command is that font awesome icon, font awesome icon, like so, from the package called react slash font awesome, this same package. So yeah, this is the package we are going to install, and the icon is present inside this solid svg icons. So but I'm going to use a regular svg icon, so we need to modify something in the package. So I'm going to install the regular package. Accidentally I have installed a solid package, so I'm not going to use that. Mm, just we'll just make it as regular, but you can also include use the solid, but I don't like it a bit. I like the regular style of this copy icon. So it is getting downloaded. So I'm just going to import fa copy. So I think we don't need this curly braces. Fa copy. So yeah, this is it. So fa copy from 4000 slash free regular. So I'm just going to use it over here, and I'm going to use it inside a span component, so I can style it using the span component to font awesome icon, and icon is going to be of fa copy. So like so. So if we refresh this page, so you guys can see the icon over here. So now we can just jump into the styling part. So I will close these packages. I'm going to open the app css file. First let me just style this app class, and I'm going to give a margin of 0%, like so, and a min height of 100 vh, and I'm going to have a background color. I have already predefined it, so I'm just copy pasting it over here. So if I refresh this page, it will be visible. So I'm going to use this background. So yeah, so now we'll just style it, and I'm going to have a display of flex to so flex what it does is that put everything, every component side by side, like what we are seeing over here. So now I'm just going to have a flex direction of column, flex direction of column, and I'm going to align items in center. Align items aligns every items vertically center, and just I'm going to give a justify content as space evenly, so it gives space with every each and every component horizontally, so like so. And so now I'm going to add a class name called I'm going to have a class name for this h1 tag over here, and the class name is going to be of title. So yeah, okay, like so. And now it is going to be title, and I'm going to give a color of 2575 FC, like so. And letter spacing of 4px, and I'm going to have a font family. So before using this font family, we have to get the link from the font Google Fonts. So here is the two fonts I'm going to use: the Poppins and Releve. So like so, I'm going to import it over here. So yeah, now we can use the font family as a Releve, comma sans serif. So if we refresh this page, so yeah, you guys can see it over here. It is awesome. I'm going to style this container. Before I'll just close these stuffs, so I don't want these things now. So and I'm going to have a class name called container for this num of chars. So I have already gave a class name called num of chars. So yeah, and I'm going to have a container for this buttons to style it. So now I'm just going to give it some class name of btn dash container, like so, and I'm going to style it using here. So first I'm going to style the container class. So I think this is of h3. So and I'm going to have a margin of 0%. And I'm going to give a color of and I'm going to give some letter spacing. Letter spacing of 1px, so it will look much better. And I'm going to have a font family of Poppins. Sans serif. And I'm going to align the text center. So if I refresh this page, so I can see it is styled much better now. So now I'm going to style this button container. Button container with min width of min width of 70 vh and min height of 10 vh. So if I refresh this thing, so you guys can see now. So now I'm going to have a display of flex. So display flex. So now justify content. And I'm going to have a space between and the align items. Align items as center. So if I refresh this page, so yeah, so it looks kind of weird. So now I'm going to style this button anyway. So just copy this now and between dash content. Button padding of 10px and 40px. Color is going to be white. The text color is going to be white and a background color, border, a cursor, border radius, font size. So I'm going to have a background color of this kind of a blue color. So if I refresh it, so you guys can see it over here, and I'm going to have a border of. So and I'm going to have a border of 2px, 2px, and it is going to be solid, and it is going to have the same color of this thing. So and I'm going to have a border of radius of 100px. So if I refresh this, so now our buttons look much more better, and I'm going to have a cursor of pointer. Cursor of pointer. So now if I refresh, so sort of pointer. If I refresh this page, now if I hover over this, my cursor becomes a pointer. So, so yeah, and I'm going to have a font size of 15px because these numbers are so small. Font size of 15px, yeah, like so. And I need to refresh this page. So yeah, now it is much more better to see. So now we are going to style this form. So I'm going to have a form element with a min width of 70 vh, which we have provided lastly. So and then I'm going to have a min height of 5 vh, no, 35 vh, and display is going to be flex. So before doing it, I need to refresh this page, and it is going to be flex. The display is going to be flex, and justify contents as a space between. So now the align items is going to be center. So it looks like so now I'm going to have a flex direction of column, so that so yeah, now it looks good. So yeah, now I'm going to style this div tag div tag. So now I'm going to these are separate div tags inside the form. So I'm going to style these separate div tags. So I'm going to give a color of I'm going to give a min width of 40 vh. I'm going to have a min height of 5 vh. And I'm going to display flex. So if I refresh this, you guys can see I'm going to move this cursor over this checkbox over here, because I'm going to give the justify contents as a space between, so it only leaves space between these two elements. Justify content of the space between. So yeah, so kind of I'm going to have line items in center, line item center. So now it looks fine. So I'm going to style this label tag to give the font div space label. So label, and I'm going to give a color of this kind of blue, and font family of Poppins, which I have provided over here, and I'm going to copy this thing. So yeah, like so, and I'm going to refresh this. So now it looks much better, and I'm going to have a size of font size of 15 px. And I'm going to have a font weight of 700. 700 is a huge number, but since I have a link only for a smaller case, so that I'm going to use 700. If you add 700 for a normal case letter, it will become so much huge bigger than this number. So now I'm going to just have a cursor of pointer, because if I hover over this include lowercase, it must check this box. So that's why I'm going to have a cursor of pointer like so, and I'm going to now style this form div input, and I'm going to now style this form tag. Of a cursor pointer, have a cursor pointer and a font size of 18 px to make those checkboxes much bigger. So now it looks fine. So what I'm just going to do is that I'm going to reduce this distance between each of things. So for that I'm going to reduce this 40 vh. So it's going to look fine now. Yeah, now it looks okay. So and now I'm just going to style this button generate password into a form div of button, and I'm going to have a width of and I'm going to have a width of 40 vh. Since these things are just 35 vh, 30 vh, I'm going to have a width of 30 vh over here, and padding of 10 px and 20 px, padding of 10 px and 20 px, and I'm going to have a font size of medium, and I'm going to have a border of 2px solid, and the color is going to be 2575 and FC, the same color I am using all the time. So if I refresh this, you guys can see, wait, this is not visible over here, so I have to refresh. So I think this button is not inside this div, so no, it must work fine. So yeah, it is visible, and I'm going to have a border radius of 100 px like so, and background color as this, and I'm going to color this font as white, so like so. Now it looks fine, and I'm going to have a cursor of pointer, pointer. So if I refresh this page, so now my cursor becomes pointer, and I'm going to style this password and this icon. So I have named the class as display pass, and this password is nothing but the h2 tag. So I'm going to have that over here, and I'm going to have a height of 40 px, and the width of 5eh. So now, and I'm going to have a border of the same border I'm using this all the time, and I'm going to have a margin top for so this width must be greater. I'm going to have a 50 px over here, so that I'm going to, because this is going to be wide, because I'm going to have 16 characters, it must fill everything within this box, so that, and I'm going to have a border radius of 100 px, and the background color is going to be of white. I'm going to have a background color as white. So now if I refresh this, so now it looks fine. Now I'm not going to have a border radius for 100 px for all of the corners. I'm going to have 0 for both of these corners, because I'm going to attach that copy icon over there. That's why 100 px, yeah, like so. So now I'm going to attach this copy icon over here. So for this display pass, I'm going to add flex, so that it puts this password and this icon side by side. So now it is over here, and I'm going to move this over here. So we need a font family, and I'm going to give a font family of same Poppins, which I have already used over here in the container. So I'm going to have it here. and if I so that it looks fine. Mm. So if I refresh this, you guys can see this. And I'm going to have a letter spacing of 3px, then and color. I'm going to have a color of this 2575 FC. It is an X color. I'm going to I'm going to align the text in the center. So yeah, so now this password now it looks fine. So I have to style this icon. So for it I have added a span tag so I can use it. So now I'm going to give a height of 5 VH and a width of I'm going to give a width of 40 px, and I'm going to add a border, the same border and the radius. I'm going to copy these things. And I'm going to alter this because the opposite corners must be curved, but the other corners must be left 0. So yeah, it looks like kind of like this, and I'm going to just move it down using this margin of 21 px. So now I'm going to give a height of 40 px, so like so, and that I'm going to have a display of flex and the align items center, and justify contents also center. So now this icon is put in the middle, and I'm going to have a cursor of pointer. So and I'm going to give a color of white, and I'm going to give a color of this X 2575 and FC. I'm going to have a background color as white. So, and I'm going to make this icon much bigger. So I'm going to have a font size as large. I'm going to have a larger. So now it is bigger. This gap arises because I am giving a margin of 21 px, but this must be of margin top. So now it has been successfully joined both the things. I'm going to reduce this as 20 px. So now the password and the icon is attached between both of it. So now what this line is much thicker because this is a border of two things, this password and this icon. So I'm just going to reduce one border from both of it. So like I'm going to give a border right of I'm going to have a border right this right component of 0 px. So now it going to yeah, no, it is just thin, this thing. So now pretty much we have completed the css, but one thing is missing. If I hover over this buttons and this icon, I'm going to display a different color. For that I'm going to take this button thing, this button thing, and this form button, to have this form button. So if I hover on both of this thing, it is going to be displayed differently, like hover, like background color is going to be of white, and the font color is going to be of this X color 2575 in the FC, like so. And if I refresh this and if I hover over this, this becomes white and kind of gold. So now this looks good and awesome. And I'm going to add the same thing over here. I'm going to have a dot this display pass of span tag. If I hover over it, I'm going to have the same thing but differently. I'm going to have since this border color is already white, I'm going to have this X color over here and the font color of white. 75 and FC, and I'm going to have a font color of white. So now if I hover over this becomes a blue and white combo. So now everything looks fine. So yeah, now the UI is completed pretty much. Now we are going to generate a random password, and so now I'm just going to close this app.css file. Now we will just open. First we have to get this number of characters from this element. So I'm going to have a variable over here as where I'm sorry where of num of chars is equals to, I'm not going to define it, and I'm going to have a function called const set num of chars. So I'm going to have a function called set num of chars, set num of chars, which equals to an arrow function, and this is going to have a parameter called num and set num of chars. So I'm going to assign this num of chars with a num value, so like so, and this num value is passed to this function set num of chars, and I'm going to pass this function to this num of chars. So set num of chars is nothing but set num of chars, and I'm going to get this over here. I will get this as a prop. Parameters are also called prop in React. Nothing but the properties set num of char, and I'm going to have an on click event to give the value to the set num of chars function. So here there is going to be an arrow function. Here I'm going to call this num of chars function, and I'm going to pass this value of 4 because this button is of 4, and I'm going to pass a value of 4 over here. Now I'm just going to copy this thing. Now I'll just clip it over here, and here also. And I'm going to have a value for 8 for this button, and I'm going to have a value of 12, and I'm going to have a value of 16. So now if I click this button, it has to set a value for num of chars as num. So that's it. So now we'll just console log this num of chars. So if I refresh and I'm going to call this set num of chars is undefined. So I need a s over here, and then I'm going to have a s here. So set num of chars is not defined. It shows like set num of chars is somewhere else. Yeah, I have to give it here also. And so just refresh this page. So if I hit 8, now I'll just open the console. So yeah, it is 8 over here. So if I hit this 16 button, and it is going to show us 16. So now we are just able to assign the value for this num of chars variable. So now we have to generate password, and we have to check this boxes defaultly. So I'm just open this form.js file. I'm going to have default. There is a prop called default check, and it is going to be of true value before giving it. I'm just going to have four use state variables, and I'm going to import use state from React. Use state from React, and I'm going to have const lower lower comma set lower. So these lower is going to be a boolean value, and its default value is going to be true. Use state of so yeah, it is going to be a default value of 0, true. I'm sorry, I'm going to copy for 4 times, and I'm going to have lower upper for upper cases, and set upper, and this is going to be of num, and this is also going to be of num, and this is going to be of symbol, and this is going to be set symbol. So like so now we have done, and its lower value is nothing but true as default, and I'm going to change this lower value. If I uncheck that box, I'm going to have false for this lower variable through this set lower. So I'm going to have default checked as lower, so which is nothing but true. As of now it is nothing but true, and I'm going to have see, if I have a lower is a true value, so default checked is nothing but true here. And I'm going to have an on change event, which is going to be an arrow function, where I'm going to use state to provide the value, and this is going to be of not of lower, which if lower is true, it is going to be the value of this, it is going to be false. If lower is false, then the value is going to be true. So now if I refresh this, now this is not use state, actually it is set lower, sorry. So now if I uncheck this this lower variable value becomes false, and if I check this, it becomes true. So now I'm going to have the same thing for over all the input checkboxes. So I'm going to have it over here as well as here, and for the symbol also. And I'm going to have the value of symbol, so here it is going to be of number num, So here it is going to be of upper. So yeah, it is going to be of set upper. This is going to be of set none. So and this is going to be of set symbol. So this has to be of so if I refresh this page, so now default every form label is checked. If I uncheck it becomes false. If I can check it over here. So now we have to generate password when I'm clicking this generate password. So now I'm going to write a function. First I'm going to have a string of every lowercase, every uppercase, and every number and every symbol. So now I'm just going to create a const alf alf small, like so, which contains every lowercase, q r s t u v w x y z. So I think I have printed every values. So yeah, and I'm going to have a const alf caps variable which is going to have every uppercase values. Okay, now and I'm going to have a const number of every numbers. 90, and I'm going to have every symbols inside symbol, like so, and so for this backslash we need another backslash so that it is printed, or else it will be formatted. And for this double quotes, for this single quotes we also need a backslash, because we have used a single quotes as to provide as a string. So now we have literally have every string symbols as a string. So now I am going to write a function to merge every these strings. Before that we need a const generate password function. This is going to be an arrow function. First we are going to have a variable of pass which is null, and a variable of string. We need a variable of string const string as equals to, and I'm going to call a function to put every these strings into a single string. Before I'm going to call a function over here, and the function is nothing but get string, like so, and I'm going to pass few variables. So first I'm going to get four boolean values, lower comma upper comma num comma symbol. So I'm just going to have this as number, or else numbers will be fine. so that I'm going to have these are four boolean values, and I'm going to pass this to this function. And now, and these boolean values will be provided from this form.js file. So if this lower is checked, it is true. If it is unchecked, it is false. And I'm going to pass these four boolean values to this app file, and I'm going to pass this to the getString function, where we will compare, and if it is true, we will add the small values, and if it is false, we will add these upper cases, like so. So let me just write a function const getString, which gets these four boolean values as parameters, like so. And so I'm just going to compare if lower, then I'm going to, before that I'm going to have a variable called string, which is of null value. So if lower is true, then I'm going to add the small cases to the string, uh, small, like so. And I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to for 4 times. And if upper value is true, upper is true, and I'm going to concatenate the upper cases, lower, upper, and num. If num is true, then I'm going to concatenate numbers. So if symbol is true, I'm going to concatenate symbols. So like so. So now we will just going to return this symbol. Now I'm going to return the string which I have created, and I'm going to assigning the string value to this const string variable, so that I'm just going to generate a password with the help of this string. So before generating it, I will check the number of chars is does it have a value or it is empty. So if num of chars not equal to null, so if it is not equal to null, uh, so if it is equals to 0, I'm sorry, if it is equal to null, and I'm going to alert of enter number of chars needed, like so. If if they have entered the number of characters, then I'm just going to generate the password. For generating a password, I'm just going to use a for loop, let I equals to 0 and I is less than num of chars. So I'm going to increment this I variable. I'm going to loop through the number of characters is needed. So yeah, now I'm going to create so this there's a function called math.random, which generates a um, float random variable value which is less than 0. So if I multiply with string dot length, it will return a float value which value is less than the string or length value. I think the length of the string variable is 94, So the random value generated will be less than 94, and I'm going to round off the this value which I am getting of because since this is a float value is returned, I have to round it off so that I can use it as a index variable index value. So there's a function called caret caret so the index value is returned using these functions. So and I'm going to get the char value, and I'm going to get the character through this index of the string. So so this is pretty much and I'm going to concatenate that and I'm going to concatenate this character which I'm retrieving from the string and I'm going to concatenate with this password. So at the end I will just return this password. So I will just instead of returning I'm going to use state again. So just going to import usestate input usestate from from react like so. And I'm going to use a usestate const password comma set password shit comma set password and this is going to be of usestate, and its value is going to be a string which is a password is going to be a string, and I'm going to give a value for this password through set password. So I can just set the password over here. I'm going to set password and I will just pass this pass value. That's it. So this password value is passed to this set password, so which assigns the value for this password, and I'm going to just I'm going to just use this password over here. So I'm going to just uh, use password inside this h2 tag, so that now if I click this 16, I created a random password. It will create a password for me. So I have to pass this generate password function to this form variable form tag as a function, so that I am going, if I hit this generate password button, it is going to fire that function. So I'm going to have an on click event which is going to be a arrow function, and I'm going to call this generate pass function, and I'm going to give this lower comma upper comma num comma symbol as parameters to this generate pass. So it will create a pass and it will display it. So and I have to include this prop over here, generate pass like so. So now if I hit 16 and generate password, it shows a random password, but it is not a correct password. So we made an error somewhere else. So we can just clear it off. So let me just make this as a global variable string so that there won't be no confusion. So I'll just eliminate this const, and I'm going to have this over here. We'll just remove this and I'm not returning this. So now let me see. So it creates the same. So first we will just comment this line, and so we will just see what random value we are getting. Random of just going to console log the random value. First let me explain it once again. So we are going to inspect element, and I'm going to be console so it is not returning a value, it seems. So I think random like so. So now if I enter something like 12, so um, if random, so yeah, so this is the thing. So I have figured it out why we got such an error. So random, I have to use a parenthesis because it is a function. So if I just reload it, 16 and generate password, we are getting a random password. So yeah, so we have completed the password generator, and I have to copy this text by hitting this icon. So for that I'm going to have a like React package called copy to clipboard. So I have this command to run. So we will just run this command so that we will be we can use copy to clipboard. So import copy from copy copy to clipboard like so, and so I think we know no need this React, and I'm going to write a function to copy. I'm going to have a const copy to clipboard like so, and so I'm just going to copy the password like so, and I'm just going to alert that we will use backticks so that I can format the password. Copied text like so, and copied text, and I'm just going to format um, this password like so. So now so now if I copy this text, it will alert me, so that I'm just going to use this copy to clipboard function here for this font using an on click event. So yeah, I'm going to refresh this page. 16 generate password, so the password is generated. If I hit the icon, it shows me that copy text like so. So I can now paste the text somewhere else like here. So I'm able to copy this. So that's it. We are pretty much developed a password generator. So yeah, we have went through use state hooks and copy to clipboard package and font awesome icons. They have styled the entire app. So yeah, hit the thumbs up button if you like this video, and a sub to the channel will be amazing. Thank you.